For 2022, the Tundra enters its third generation, and it is new from the ground up. It's now on Toyota's TNGA F architecture, and there's two engines available. First, a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, making 389 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, and a V6 hybrid, making 437 horsepower and a whopping 583 pound-feet of torque. Both run on 87-octane gas, which should make things a little lighter on the wallet. But significantly, there's no more V8. Behind this rather imposing grille, we get a twin-turbo V6 that is the base engine, but there's no V8. The V8 is gone. Rest in peace. Let's pour one out for the V8. Oh, yeah. The iForce engine makes more torque though, and it feels pretty strong. It actually sounds pretty good too. And you can feel all of that torque coming on down low. It comes on all by 2,400 RPM. So there's really not much turbo lag at all, which is kind of a nice thing. It's pretty quick, it's pretty responsive. And when I mash it, torque is all right there. And this is a fairly fast truck. And it sounds pretty good too. But is that a real sound? I don't think so. I think it's actually a fake sound, but I'm okay with it. It sounds pretty beefy. It sounds meaty. I'm not sure if it sounds like a V8 or a V6. I think it has a bit of a V8 sound, but it doesn't bother me. And you get this sound with the higher level trims. Do I miss the V8? That's the big question. Is the V8 something that I just absolutely have to have? From a driving perspective, I don't think so. I think this drives really well. It actually has more power and torque than the V8 did, and there's a good torque all the way across the power band. And you sort of drive the torque, you don't really drive the horsepower. All right, let's hit it. Hear that transmission? This is the new 10-speed transmission, and this is a revelation compared to the old 6-speed automatic. This shifts pretty quickly when you want it to. You just heard it right there. It's pretty unobtrusive, and you don't really notice it most of the time, which is exactly what you want from a good automatic transmission. It just kind of does its thing, and it's got 10 speeds, so it's always in the right gear, and it should give you better fuel economy on the highway. This TRD Off Road package gets an on-demand 4x4 system with a traditional transfer case. That means you get 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low options controlled by this switch. This also has the optional towing package, and in this configuration it can tow a little over 11,000 pounds. Maximum towing for the Tundra is 12,000. If you're switching between 4 high and 4 low, you do need to be in neutral, but once you're there, there's something called multi-terrain select, and that gives you options for rock, snow, mud, etc. Unfortunately, our time with the Tundra was limited, and we didn't have a chance to take it off-road. We'll see if we can get it again in the future. Speaking of off-road, this gets the TRD Off Road package, which is available on the SR5, the Limited, and the 1794. You get 20-inch wheels, all-terrain tires, TRD grille, a skid plate, but most importantly, this gets an electronic locking rear differential. And if you're going off-road, this is hopefully going to help you stay unstuck. The TRD off-road package also gives you these Bilstein monotube shocks. They're going to help reduce foaming inside, but most importantly, there are some big changes in the rear of this vehicle. Toyota finally ditched the leaf spring setup, and now we do have a solid rear axle, of course, but we have coil springs. They are mounted directly to the axle, and the shocks are mounted outboard of the frame. And that's going to give a couple of advantages. One, it's better for towing, you get better ride quality, and also better motion control. So let's get on the road and let's see exactly how this thing drives. Bilstein shocks. So, what are they like driving on pavement? Actually, these are excellent. I really like the ride quality in here. This is the kind of ride that I like. It's not soft. It's still compliant. It's not floaty. I'm going a little bit slowly here, but from a handling perspective, they're quite good. We're getting less body roll than I remember in the old truck, and that's also a good thing. And that is partly due to the fact that now we've got this coil spring setup in the back. We ditched the leafs and we mounted the shocks outboard of the frame, and so we've just got better roll control, better body control. There's definitely less body roll going on here, and I think that's a really good thing too. So you can also get this with an optional air suspension setup, which is load leveling. This doesn't have that. There's a lot of different options that you can get. The cabin is quite quiet. There's a lot of insulation in here, and actually the engine, the V6 engine, is much quieter than the old V8 too. So at least from those perspectives, I think the V6 is better, and this drives great overall. Before we get to the interior, we need to talk price. The Tundra starts at about $41,000 and goes all the way up to over $60,000. This limited edition with the TRD Pro Off-Road package, which is $3,000, goes for about $60,000 all in, including a $1,700 destination fee. Now, let's talk about the interior. So the last generation, it was full of a lot of hard plastics, and that's actually okay for a work truck. This new interior is completely revised, and it feels much more modern. Now we finally get a big tablet on the dashboard like every other vehicle, and this has got the optional 14-inch display. It comes standard with an 8-inch, and you've got wireless Apple CarPlay, you've got Android Auto. On the main screen, it's fairly responsive. You can pinch and zoom. It's definitely worlds better than it was before. There is one slightly annoying thing to this navigation system though, and that is you need to pair it with the Toyota app to really do anything the first time you start using it. There's a ton of storage in here. The center console opens up. There's a sliding tray on top. It's very big. There's lots of space in the doors for drinks. The seats look really nice, and they're going to fit a wide range of body types. They're actually some type of artificial leather. They look like they're going to be very durable. They look very sturdy. There's a ton of headroom in here, and my apologies for the wind noise if you can hear it. There is a virtual tornado going on outside. This is the CrewMax cab, and in the back, there's a lot of space, especially in terms of legroom here. I've got basically over a foot between my knees and the back of the seat. This has 38.5 inches of headroom, and that's actually about 2 inches less than the F-150. So if you're dealing with taller passengers on a regular basis, people that are over 6 foot tall, you might want to think about that. Now the back seat's got a nice little trick. You can flip it open and you can put a lot of stuff back here, including a camera bag. Same thing on the passenger side as well. We finally made it to the bed, and there's actually 3 different beds. So this is the 5.5 foot bed. I can do a little surf action over here. This is the short bed. There's also a 6.5 foot bed, and the Big Daddy is an 8.1 foot bed. Now to get the Big Daddy, you can't have this CrewMax cabin. You've got to have the double cab cabin, which is a little bit smaller. You're going to have about 8 inches or so less legroom, but you can get the 2 longer beds. With this CrewMax cabin, which has got a lot more legroom, you can get the 5.5 and the 6.5 foot bed. This also has an optional lighting package, which is actually very good. You can light this up at night, and it's got a couple in the bed here too, so that's really helpful. See this? This is my elbow, and Toyota has given me a new use for my elbow because I can just go up to this little secret button here, and the back pops down. Also, you can open the tailgate with the remote. You're thinking to yourself, you want to get into the bed, you want a step. Well, that's $400. There are cameras everywhere in this vehicle. We got one here. We also got a couple at the top of the bed. This has got the towing package. So we've got a receiver over here. We have a couple of outlets over here for your electricals. This is a full-size truck. You can fit almost a half-ton in the bed. And the turning circle is something that we need to talk about, because in the last generation, it was 44 feet. Now that's okay for a big truck. However, they made a change here. Now this is up to 48.6 feet, which means it's bigger by 4.6 feet. Let me show you. Let me give you a little demonstration. In fact, the turning circle is so big it didn't even fit in the frame of our drone. Okay, sorry, the drone moved a little bit. Now it's time for our race flag segment. Checkered flag, that means go. The V6 iForce engine is a winner. It's powerful, smooth, and I got about 20 miles per gallon on the freeway, something the old V8 never quite got. I love the new interior. It's modern, it still seems tough, and the build quality is typical Toyota. I like the new infotainment system. The display is excellent, it's responsive, and Toyota keeps improving it. The 10-speed transmission is excellent. It was always in the right gear, and the build quality seems really good. It seems typical Toyota. The suspension and ride quality is very good with the Bilstein shocks. Yellow flag, this is an area where things could be improved. There's less engine options than the competitors.
The Ford F-150 has 6 different engine choices. For now, the hybrid engine is not yet available at dealers. There's less headroom in the back than the competitors, and 12,000 pounds towing capacity. It's good, it's just not as high as the competitors. Black flag, these are things that I would really like to see improved. I would love to see an integrated rear step in the bumper. The 48-foot turning circle is big, and this is something that you really need to take into account if you live in the city. And other than that, there's really not much to dislike here.
There's no question that the Tundra is a very big truck, but the question that I have is, can this big Tundra get into my very average 2-car garage?
I have 3 feet of shelving at the back of my garage, and if I didn't have that, the Tundra would have just fit by a couple inches.
Toyota has done a remarkable job with this truck. It feels modern, it feels solid, the interior is fantastic, and I think the V6 and 10-speed automatic transmission combination are really, really good. The gas mileage you're gonna get really is gonna be up to you. And it even looks American. So my question to you is, can Toyota grab a big slice of the American Yankee apple pie? My name is Eric. Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video.